You're not thinking, you're rehearsing, and you've been doing it for years. You call it figuring things out, but it's just your mind, running in circles, trying to protect the illusion of control. Zen monks knew this. That's why they gave students something worse than silence. A koan, a question without an answer. A blow to logic, a tool to destroy the need to understand and wake up instead. In this video, you'll learn why the mind that breaks is the one that finally sees. This is the samurai method. Your mind doesn't want truth, it wants control. Is less than hash on. 5 hash is greater than. You don't think to discover truth. You think to protect your identity. Your mind isn't curious. It's defensive. It filters, judges, compares. Not to learn, but to stay safe. You've built stories, and now you spend your days reinforcing them. That you're this, that you're not that, that you know who you are. But here's the truth. You don't want truth. You want certainty, and certainty is a prison. You argue not to explore, but to win. You overanalyze not to see more, but to avoid deciding. You ask questions not to understand, but to delay the action you're afraid of taking. That's how your mind works. It loops, it defends, it protects the lie that you are in control. Zen does not care about your arguments. It doesn't give you theories. It gives you a hammer. It gives you a koan, not to explain life, to shatter your explanations. Because until the mind breaks, you're not thinking, you're rehearsing. And until the mind is silent, you'll never hear anything real. What is a koan and why does it confuse you? Is less than has own. 5 hash is greater than. A koan is not a riddle. It's a weapon, not to be solved, but to break what you think you know. It's a question designed to confuse the part of you that never stops talking, the part that always needs answers. Labels, certainty. Zen masters gave them to students, not to enlighten, but to interrupt. A koan is a paradox on purpose. It makes no sense, because it's not supposed to. It's not asking for logic, it's asking for presence. It's meant to overload your intellect until it breaks, until something deeper, quieter, takes over. Because your deepest insights don't come from thinking harder. They come from thinking less. The student asks, "What is Buddha?" The master replies, 3 pounds of flax. What does that mean? Exactly. The koan burns through you. It doesn't reward you. It frustrates you until you give up the need to understand. And in that moment, you stop interpreting. You start seeing, not with thoughts, with attention. The koan doesn't answer anything. It removes the one asking. That's why it works. That's why it scares you. That's why it's still being used. After 1,000 years. 3 koans that break mental loops. Is less than has shown. 5 hash is greater than. You want clarity. But clarity doesn't come from knowing. It comes from breaking what you think you know. These are not stories. They're traps. And once you fall into one, you don't climb out with answers. You dissolve the part of you that needed one. 1. What was your face before your parents were born? Your mind tries to calculate. Timeline, biology, memory, all useless. Because this koan isn't about the past. It's about identity. It asks, who are you without your story? Before your name, before your role, before thought. You don't answer this. You sit with it until the question stops being a question and becomes a mirror. 2. If you see the Buddha on the road, kill him. It sounds violent, but it's not. It means this: any image of truth that can be named is false. Even the Buddha becomes an obstacle if you cling to the idea of him. This koan cuts through all spiritual ego. It tells you, don't follow symbols, Follow silence. Don't worship the path. Walk it. 3. Without moving your lips, speak the truth. No sound, no language, no form. How do you communicate something real? When all your tools are taken, you panic. Then you slow down. Then you see. Truth doesn't come from the mouth. It comes from presence. This koan forces you into the body, into the now, where nothing needs to be said, because everything is already seen. You don't solve these. You survive them, and if they do their job, you'll never think the same again. Stop thinking. Start seeing. Is less than hajon. 5 hash is greater than. The mistake most men make is believing that thinking equals awareness. It doesn't. You don't see your life. You narrate it. You don't live the moment. You comment on it. And that commentary is what keeps you stuck. You miss the real thing because you're always describing it. That's where the koan comes in. It forces the mind to pause, not gently, violently. You can't think your way through it. So you're left with nothing to lean on, only presence, only now. And for the first time, you see without the filter. When you train with koans, you're not chasing answers. You're building stillness. You're burning through mental habits that keep you distracted, reactive, weak. You stop reaching, you stop judging, you stop naming everything you see, and start actually seeing it. This is not mysticism, it's discipline. It's mental sharpening by subtraction. The koan isn't solved in the mind. It's cracked in the body, in stillness, in breath, in direct contact with what is. No opinions, no labels, just raw perception. That's not thinking. That's clarity. And once you touch it, you never forget the taste. No more answers, just presence. Is less than hashon. 5 hash is greater than. You've spent your life chasing answers, looking for meaning, looking for proof, looking for something that feels final. But that need, that hunger for resolution, is the very thing that blinds you. You don't need more clarity. You need fewer distractions. You don't need more explanations. You need fewer thoughts. You keep asking, what should I do? How do I fix it? What's the right path? Zen doesn't give you a path. It gives you a mirror. And when you finally stop moving, you're forced to look into it. There's no quote that will save you. No belief that will free you. No system that will complete you. Only attention. Only now. Only the awareness that was buried under layers of questions you never needed to ask. A koan doesn't give you a new belief. It strips away all beliefs until nothing is left but you, fully awake, undistracted, unexplained. That's not an answer. It's presence. And for the first time, you see clearly because you finally stop trying to understand. You came here for answers. You leave with none. That was the point. Because the man who always needs to understand is the man who never sees. If something inside you finally went quiet, if you felt the edge of real clarity, then don't waste it scrolling. Subscribe to the samurai method, not for information, not for comfort, but to keep stripping away everything that keeps you asleep, one cut at a time. One breath at a time, until there's nothing left but awareness. And that is where training begins.